It's a little terrifying because you absolutely cannot miss.
Goalies now are completely at a premium.
Not, right? Like, Canada doesn't have a ton of great options. Welcome to the big show of the hockey news. I am Ryan Kennedy, joined by Michael Traikos and Devan Dubnyk, and we are into the playoffs. Almost every series has begun, and perhaps the most shocking so far was Game 1, Dallas and Minnesota. Everybody complaining these were two of the best teams in the league, had to play each other in the first round. Certainly didn't look like it in the opener. Minnesota cruised to a 6-1 victory over the Stars. Dallas head coach Glen Gulutzan said nothing for me was on our goaltending. It was on special teams. We need to be better 5-on-5, and we got to get our nose over the puck a little bit more. Michael, I will start with you on this one. What'd you think of Game 1, and is Glen Gulutzan right?
Glen Gulutzan is right if he wants to make his goalie happy, but I think he's incorrect if he's watching the same game that I was. Listen, the goaltending is going to be a major talking point in Dallas, and we know what happened last year with Peter DeBoer basically pulling the chute on Jake Ottinger, and ultimately I think that cost DeBoer his job. Now, Gulutzan's got to make sure he manages the goaltending properly, and he's probably right in the sense that it wasn't just on Jake Ottinger. Like, that was an ugly game from a lot of Dallas players. And, we know this one's going to be tight, and we know it's probably going to come down to, goaltending or special teams or a combination of whatever. But, let's face it, you can't give up this many goals and the goaltender not to get at least a bit of the blame.
Imagine if the series wasn't close. Gary Bettman would never let the 1 versus 8 people live that down. But Devan, obviously you were an NHL goaltender for years. When it comes to Jake Ottinger, some people have said they've figured him out. Is that a thing? Like, Ottinger's been in the league for a decent amount of years now. He's still fairly young, but can a goaltender at that level get figured out by a team this quickly?
No. I'd love to hear the reasoning of why they think he's been figured out, or if it's just because that he gave up 5 goals. I think one was an empty netter, right? Yeah. No, it's I'd love unless they have some papers with some advanced statistics that show me that Jake Ottinger's been figured out. That's just people enjoying saying that, but I don't think. I mean, he's still when he's on, he's as calm as anybody. He looks unbeatable. I agree. I don't think. I think what Glen's trying to say is that game was not lost because of Jake Ottinger. He wasn't his best. He wasn't super sharp. There was, one of the goals is going 3 feet wide off a guy that's going in on anybody in the planet. A couple funky bounces, but just wasn't super sharp. So it wasn't, he didn't play well enough to win that game. But the reason they lost that game wasn't Jake Ottinger. I think that's what he's trying to get at. So he's going to need to be better for sure as the series goes on. But I don't think that was a good enough effort from Dallas start to finish to win a hockey game, regardless of who was in net. So surprising for sure. This Minnesota team is dangerous. I think that they went out. That was a statement game. I think they're going to get obviously a much better game from Dallas in Game 2. But what a way to start a series on the road against a team who you've been every single game's been very close and very exciting to go in there and really stomp on them for Game 1 was impressive by Minnesota.
Mm-hmm. At some point, if they felt they had to, would Dallas go to Casey DeSmith, or is that just sort of like saying well, if we're toast?
I think they could. I don't think they're gonna, they're not gonna let a playoff series go. Like, this is too good of a hockey team. They had 112 points. I don't remember what they finished with, but a lot of points. And that's too good of a season to if Ottinger is not giving them chances to win or giving them really good chances to win or playing, at a higher level, not just okay. Casey DeSmith is a good goalie, and he's not Jake Ottinger, but he's not a bum by any means. Like he played extremely well for them. He won them a lot of hockey games this year as well. So I certainly don't think they're gonna throw it away. And they are a good team too. So like obviously they're a good team. They're not just throwing a guy. They don't need a guy to necessarily steal them a game. And Casey DeSmith has been great this year. So I don't think that that's necessarily a last resort. It's not something you want to do. You want Ottinger to be the guy that's going to take you to the end. But I don't think they'll wait. If the level of play isn't there from Ottinger, I don't think they're waiting until elimination day to make that change.
Fair enough. Well, one team that does not need to do much research as to why they lost their first game is the Tampa Bay Lightning. The answer was their penalty kill, because Montreal absolutely feasted on the power play, including Juraj Slafkovsky getting the hat trick game winner in overtime on the power play. He becomes the first Canadiens player in history to notch 3 power play goals in a playoff game. And if you think about some of the talent Montreal has had in its history, that is quite impressive. Michael, go to you first on this one. How does this series change if both teams tighten up for game 2? Obviously, John Cooper was not happy with how his Lightning performed.
No, yeah, you're right, Ryan. Like, the penalties are one thing, and then the penalty kill is another. So, not a great start for Tampa. I thought that was a really fun, entertaining game just as a fan, but, I'm sure the coaches thought about it a lot differently. Listen, if Tampa Bay tightens things up, obviously that's going to play to their advantage. They've got arguably the best goalie in the planet, in Vasilevsky in net. So as long as he's seeing, 5-on-5 chances, I think you're going to give yourself a better opportunity to win. I actually thought, when things were 5-on-5, Tampa Bay played a strong game, physical game. I thought both teams are actually pretty physical. But yeah, to your point, you don't want to put Montreal on the power play. They have way too many options, whether it's Suzuki, whether it's Cole Caulfield, or whether it's Slafkovsky, who, had a great Olympics where he was sniping goals. And now you've just given a 22-year-old even more confidence going into game 2. So, not a great start for Tampa.
Devan, when you look at this series, Tampa Bay obviously could be the heavier team, but that, penalties got them in trouble, so they're going to have to toe the line for the rest of the series. But when you look at Montreal, obviously a smaller team, does Tampa necessarily have to lean on them, or do you see sort of a better way where they can maybe not take as many penalties and put the Habs on the power play?
Yeah, they have to find a way. I mean, that's going to be something. It's something that everybody wants to do in a playoff series, right? You want to make it uncomfortable for the other team, but if you're crossing that line and putting a team's power play out there that just picked you apart, then you're going to have to change the game plan a little bit. And I don't think that all the penalties were necessarily from trying to lean on them. I think they were just not very disciplined penalties. Montreal's power play is unique. It's not kind of your basic power play. I think it's going to really depend on, is Tampa able to tighten up that penalty kill and not give Montreal the looks. But the thing with Montreal is, like, it is a unique power play, so they've got lots of different options. They've got lots of different looks. So if Tampa Bay does start to, defend that PK better, who's able to do it better? Is Montreal able to create and create something different, so they're always keeping Tampa guessing on their toes, or is Tampa able to lock it down? Because obviously, if Tampa's penalty kills better that game, they win the hockey game. So that's going to be interesting going forward, because that Montreal power play just seems crazy, the amount of options. And they got some good looks 5-on-5 too, moving the puck around. It's fun to watch. And, I'll mention this a little bit later, but that world-class goaltending, they're going to need a little more from Vasi. To me, that game winner was not the one at all that you want to give up. Unfortunately, it was strangely played, very out of character for me watching him, how good he is. Very misplayed and out of character for a guy of that level.
It
And let's
feels
not
like
forget, I was gonna say, like, not having Victor Hedman, guys, like that's a big loss, whether it's on the
Yep.
penalty kill or just in general. Like you're missing your horse back there on the back end. So, a big bonus for Montreal is they don't have to face Hedman so far in the series.
Yeah, big dude, very long reach. Obviously, that would have helped on the PK. So we'll see if Hedman does return and has an impact on this series. Sticking in the Atlantic Division, Boston and Buffalo. If you were anywhere near the city of Buffalo last night, you probably heard the fans cheering. Tons of fans outside of the arena, and obviously everyone going nuts inside the rink. The Buffalo Sabres made a 2-goal comeback, scoring 4 times in 6:46. And this is all at the end of the game. This is all in the third period. Boston looked like the Bruins were in complete control. And then eventually the wheels fell off. Devin, what did you see in this game? Like, why was Buffalo able to get back in there when the Bruins had been playing so well and Jeremy Swayman had been playing so well?
Well, Buffalo's a good team, and they had some looks. Jeremy Swayman was playing really well. The momentum is crazy in playoffs, right? It can it can get you so quick, and whatever that is, you get an incredible play from Tage Thompson behind the net. I mean, his hands on that play, to be able to make that move, being 6'8" or whatever he is, with a big long stick, how quickly he pulls that in and go like that was a really good move that you don't really notice. I love the cam from up on the glass behind the net, really kind of captures it the best. But that's just a spark, right? He makes a great individual play, puts the puck in the back of the net. Now all of a sudden, I mean, I would have loved to be in that building. That looked absolutely chaotic. I watched the go-ahead goal like 10 times just with the volume on to try to just get the feeling of that place. Because even just through the screen, it's crazy. But that's the swings. And then little minor mistake from Swayman on not minor because it went in the back of the net, but mistake from Swayman on the second goal where, he just kind of lifts up. He thinks he's going to go high. It slides in along the ice. Now the place is going tenfold, and it's like it's just this boulder that's rolling, and you have to. It's hard to stop. It's an overwhelming feeling. You're in there. You're sitting there. You've had a 2-goal lead. You're looking at the end of the game like we're going to take this game 1. Now all of a sudden it's tied. The place is going crazy. You go back, break a stick, puck goes out, boom, you're down. It's like and this is all in like 3 minutes. And so it's like the whole game can be played. And Buffalo's that good too. Like they're good. They've got the players to do it, to put pucks in the back of the net. But that momentum is a crazy, crazy thing in playoffs. And you play 55 minutes and it's like that. And you game you thought you had in the bag and you're down 1 in the series.
There you
that
go.
Game was like a microcosm of Buffalo's season, if not their past 14 years, guys. Like it was.
Yeah.
Not much happening for Buffalo for the first like 50 minutes. And then all of a sudden it's like what we've seen this year. It's like from December on, they just turned a corner. And from that final, from Tage Thompson's goal onwards, it was like, all right, this is the Sabres team that won the Atlantic. And they kind of reminded everyone how dangerous they are. So, I don't know if it was so much Boston's wheels coming off or as it was just maybe Buffalo finally getting their legs under them and saying, all right, there's a reason why we are the top seed. Let's start playing like it.
And what's important that they learn through this whole stretch is the belief of that they're going to get it done, that they can get it done, and they win. And they've won so much down this stretch that it's like maybe it's not there as much. They're scratching and clawing, but they get that 2-1 goal, and the belief is in that room. Like we can win this game. We're going to win this game. Whereas, when you're losing and you haven't been in the playoffs forever and ever, that might not necessarily be there. But this team has that, and it's obvious. Like they don't think they're ever out of a hockey game.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, speaking of belief, the Philadelphia Flyers, who made the playoffs only thanks to an incredible run down the stretch, lead the Pittsburgh Penguins in the Battle of Pennsylvania, 1-0 after a 3-2 win on Saturday. Penguins power play was only 0 for 2. Flyers allowed only 17 shots and kept Sidney Crosby, noted Flyers killer, off the scoreboard. Dan Vladar obviously had something to do with the Flyers winning as well. But Mike, will the Flyers continue to be able to hold Sidney Crosby either off the score sheet or simply minimize his damage? What do you think of Philly right now?
I don't think so. And nothing against Philadelphia, but it's Sidney Crosby, guy. He's like, how many games is he going to go without, affecting the outcome on the score sheet? And, to Crosby's credit, he had 3 shots on net. If he ends up averaging 3 to 4 shots per game, he's going to find the back of the net. He's just too good of a player to kind of keep off the score sheet. But, this is the Flyers kind of MO. Like they do need to silence number 87 if they're going to have success, because everything kind of goes through Crosby on that team. So, good on Philly. We kind of anticipated this was going to be a rough and tumble series. It wasn't going to be easy. Obviously the Flyers have a coach in Rick Tocchet who not only played for the Penguins, but coached Crosby as an assistant coach. So if anyone knows how to kind of shut Crosby down, it's the guy standing behind the bench on Philadelphia's side.
Mm-hmm. And Devan, let's talk about Dan Vladar for a second, because obviously you were a goalie as well. What is it about Vladar that you think has made him so successful this season for the Flyers?
Well, I actually got a chance to interview Rick Tocchet in New Jersey on NHL Network, and he spoke about Vladar. And excuse me, he said he was really impressed with him, just the way that he came into camp. He came in and he was ready to earn the starting job. He didn't just want to be there. He wanted to be the guy. He wanted to be the starting goalie. He came in right from camp and wanted to do that. He said he's an outspoken leader. He's super positive with the guys. The guys really like having him back there in net. And those are all really important things for a group when you are the guy and you're the starting goalie. It's not just about stopping the puck. It's how the guys feel about you when you're in there. If goals go in, how a game's going, if the ice is tilted, all these things, how you're going to respond in there, what you look like in there, what they know of you as a person, kind of how you're feeling in there. It's all important stuff. And he's built that trust with this group and the coaching staff over the year. And when it comes to his play, he's good. He's great. He's a big boy, and he's played extremely well this year. And he's like, I like him. He's conservative. I think he's down a little too much, but we don't have to get into that picky stuff, because it's he got the game 1 win. But he's been great, and I love hearing that again from Talk about just the personality stuff and the leadership stuff, because you need that from a goalie, and he's obviously doing that for the Philadelphia Flyers.
Indeed. All right. Well, let's stick on goaltending. We'll move over to the Utah-Vegas series. I watched the first 2 periods and Utah was winning. Then I went to bed and I woke up and they lost. Vegas took over in the 3rd period. One of the big stories, Carter Hart made 33 saves on the night for a .939 save percentage. He has been the Golden Knights goaltender basically under John Tortorella, albeit that is not a long amount of time, as we all know. But since Torts got to town, Hart has been his guy. So, Devan, again, it's a net minding question. Are you confident in Carter Hart, who, as we all know, missed a lot of hockey in the past couple of years? Are you confident in him being able to lead the Golden Knights on a long playoff run?
Absolutely. I don't think there's any reason to think otherwise. The missed hockey right now means nothing, because he's absolutely rolling and he's got as good a feeling as anybody. I don't think he's lost since Torts has been there. Mm-hmm. And what a better thing for him to be feeling. He's seeing the puck right now. He's tracking it. He feels good. His body feels good. There's no reason to think that anything's going to get in his way. I'm not saying he's going to run the table here to get to the Stanley Cup, but he's playing as well or better than anybody in the league right now. And again, that winning feeling, just going into a game and expecting to win, you have to imagine that's exactly what he feels like right now, because he hasn't felt what it's like to lose in a long time. And the team trusts him, Torts trusts him. Nice to see. Obviously, he goes into Vegas not knowing they take a flyer on him. He doesn't know what the plan is, and then he gets hurt and he wasn't really getting a chance. And this is what you're looking for when you're trying to get back in the league, and is just that opportunity. And fortunately for him, this opportunity was there. He gets a coach that comes in that gets the boys going, a coach that's familiar with him from Philadelphia before, and puts him in and puts his trust in him, and he goes out and all he does is win. So I think this is it makes Vegas very dangerous, a combination, because all year Vegas' question is goaltending, and they weren't getting it, and they didn't know who they were going to play. And like, if they go in the playoffs and they got 3 guys, they don't know who's going to play. See you next year until you figure it out. And they figured it out. They were underperforming all year. Now they have a goalie. Now they're performing at their level. This is a dangerous team. So I like Carter Hart, and I think Vegas is super dangerous.
Hey, Devin, I was going to bring that up. Like, Torts obviously had Carter Hart for 2 years in Philly. As a goalie, how important is that when you know the coach is, he trusts you and you've got that familiarity, and he's like, listen, you're going to be our goalie, basically from the end of the season to now.
Well, it's nice because he doesn't have to, the guy knows you. He's seen you play well. I'm sure he's seen him play not well too, but Hart had plenty of good times in Philadelphia. And from what I understand, he's got a good relationship with Torts. So it's kind of perfect for both sides. Carter can go out there and play without feeling like he has to impress anybody, and that the guy knows him and knows who he is, both on and off the ice. And for Torts, he comes in there. It's not easy for a coach. You think you come into a team and you're like, you don't know who to start. You got 3 guys, and you're like, I don't know. We're trying to lock up the spot here and go into playoffs. Well, one of those guys I've had before, and I know him, and I know he's potentially great, and I've seen him play. Here, that's my guy. It's pretty easy. You're going to go to the guy that you know. So it was good. It's easy for Torts and nice for Carter Hart, and this is why we are where we are.
Mm-hmm. Mike, Tortorella has yet to lose in regulation since taking over in Vegas. He's 8-0-1. This series, watching it last night, it's going to be very interesting because Utah is clearly faster than the Golden Knights, but Vegas is they play heavier. I know Utah's got some heavy guys like Lawson Krause, and Jack McBain's a big guy as well. But Vegas was definitely more physical, and I wonder if they can kind of grind the Mammoth down. And Mammoth Grinder is a band, by the way. Look them up.
Is that right?
It's a true story. It's a completely true story. But what did you see in game 1? Like this, was Torts kind of the answer that this team just needed, as Devin pointed out, goaltending, but also they needed somebody to just kind of refocus? Because on paper, we know Vegas has weapons.
Yeah, and let's face it, Ryan. Like, this is a really good and very experienced Vegas team, and we've talked about it before. But you've got some, top flight 2-way forwards in Mark Stone and Mitch Marner, and I would even throw Jack Eichel in that mix. So
Certainly.
They're going to make it hard for you both offensively and when they don't have the puck. The other thing they got is, they got some guys with some snarl. Did you see like Nick Dowd going after Logan Cooley afterwards, basically promising that he's going to kill him in the next game? Like, I didn't think there was going to be hatred between the Mammoth and the Golden Knights, but here we are after game 1, and already players are calling each other out for fights in the next game. So it could be an interesting series. I think Utah has to rely on its speed. Like, they've got a lot of young players who can absolutely just fly down the ice. And we'll see how it goes. But if they want to play a rough series, I don't know if I want to play a rough series against Vegas.
No, I agree. And we even had a headbutt in game 1.
Yeah,
Rasmus
right.
Anderson was very upset with Sean Durzi during that, after that scrum. So yeah, we all of a sudden have a fantastic rivalry in the arid desert of America between Utah and Vegas. I guess they are kind of natural enemies because you have like Utah versus Sin City. So, sort of diametrically opposed, and now their hockey teams are doing the same thing on the ice. So I'm all for it. I think it's going to be great. I hope that it'll be a long series because game 1 was very fun because I wasn't playing in it.
You call it good versus evil series, all right?
Yeah, it's like an old Tom and Jerry cartoon with like the angel and devil on the shoulders. Another interesting series, Ottawa and Carolina. Carolina with a 2-0 win in the opener. Brady Tkachuk, the Ottawa captain, was explaining how difficult it is to break down Carolina's vaunted structure, saying they're always in the right spots. They blocked a lot of shots, especially at the end. All game, they're sacrificing their bodies. They don't give you much. So, Mike, I'll go to you first on this one. What do the Senators have to do to avoid going down 2-0 in this series?
They just got to keep doing what they're doing in game one, Ryan. And, no one likes to hear about like moral victories in the playoffs. And, I get all that. But at the same time, like tip your cap to Freddie Anderson, who just was outstanding in net, as well as those shot blockers. But I actually liked Ottawa's game. Like they didn't dominate. It's not like they're going home saying, all right, we got robbed here. We should have won. But the way they play it is, it's going to lead to victories. You're not going to get Freddie Anderson standing on his head every night like that. And if they do, then I'm sorry, no team is going to beat you, and whether it's the Senators or whomever. So I actually liked Ottawa's game. I thought they played physical. I thought they at times were, carrying the, the momentum or, driving the play, but it's just, they couldn't beat the goalie at the end of the day. And to lose 2-0, it's not that bad of a loss in my mind. Like last year, I think game one against Toronto, Ottawa just looked completely overmatched. Like they hadn't played a playoff game ever. This time around, it looked like a fairly even match where they just got stumped by the goalie.
There you go. Experience. It's a big thing. Devin, Carolina obviously has been a great regular season team for years now. And as we talked about on the show before, they just haven't been able to get over that hump kind of in the middle of the playoffs. We have not seen this Rod Brind'Amour crew in a final. So do you have, and again, it's been one game, but they did look very good. But do you think Carolina, is there something about the way that they play that is hurting them later on? Or do you think this is just a matter of they are now kind of like perfecting that structure and it's just a matter of making sure the offense doesn't dry up at some point?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, if anything, do they run out of gas? I don't know, because they just play at this crazy tempo. But that doesn't really make sense either if they're able to do it for 82 games and finish on top and do it for 2 playoff series and all of a sudden, run out of gas. And so I don't necessarily believe that. I don't know. I like Nikolai Ehlers. I think I like the way some other guys are stepping up. You always like the team. I mean, you watch them and they're flying and they're disciplined and all these things. And that's, I mean, for Ottawa, you just have to stick to what Michael said. You should get some wins playing that way. Yeah. And the last thing you need to do is then try to change that and get blown out by Carolina but it's hard to do because it's frustrating. Like you mentioned, they're just always in the right spot. They're always there. They're always in your face. They play high tempo, but you have to stick with it, and you just have to do all the little things like they're doing, because they're waiting for you to crack. Like they're going to outwork you. They're going to out-discipline you and wait for you to go the other way. But I do agree. I think Ottawa had plenty of chances. I don't think you're going to get that type of effort from Freddie Anderson every single night. I think if you create those, you're gonna find some goals, and then obviously they only gave up 2. So I agree. I think it was as good of a loss as you could have for the Ottawa Senators. But I mean, it's a tough hill to climb. This Carolina team is good, and they're fast, and they've been there before.
And Ryan, to your point about like why Carolina is not able to kind of go the distance, did you see the hits that Seth Jarvis was taking just to make a play out of his own zone? Like there's exhibit number 1 why these guys kind of run out of steam. Like they lay it all out in the line, whether it's blocking a shot or just getting completely level just to kind of chip the puck out. So it's a great strategy. It's also one of those ones where by round 3, you're just completely toast, I imagine.
Yeah. I mean, Rod Brind'Amour obviously has come up with a great system, but perhaps he forgets that none of his players are Rod Brind'Amour, the Bod. Nobody can be that conditioned or that strong anymore. It's no longer possible with modern medicine. Real quick before we get to rapid fire, Colorado and LA, the Avs won 2-1 on the weekend. Scott Wedgwood with 24 stops in his first career start in the playoffs. The Avs power play still bad, 0 for 4. So Mike, quick, are the Kings happy that it was only 2-1 and that they were kind of in this game?
Yeah, I think so. And I was actually thinking the same thing. Like similar to what we were saying about Ottawa, for LA, you're on the road, you lose barely, just 2-1. I thought, Panarin looked dangerous, obviously. Did he get a goal or got an assist?
He has a goal.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. He got a goal. So, I think, again, the playoffs are all about it's a battle of attrition. So you might lose a game, but still be happy with you're in the battle, so to speak.
And Devin, real quick, two goaltenders obviously both played very well. Do you think either of the one kind of proved early? Because there were questions, heading in, who should be Colorado's goaltender? And then you think about LA, did they have the goaltending? Obviously, it held up pretty well for them too.
Yeah, I think it's a good game for both sides, goalie-wise. So both played great. Only one guy can win, obviously. But yeah, I think I agree. I think this was a good game for LA. I mean, I don't know if they're going to win one or not, to be honest, because that was as close. And watching the game, the stats and the zone numbers and all that are close-ish. Colorado has the advantage, but they look dangerous. Like Colorado looked dangerous, and I think they've got more. And again, who knows? Watching the power play, I don't know if it's just too many weapons or what it is. They've got they're trying a little too much, and they've just got I don't know what it is. I'm not a power play guy, but they certainly, it's like they're like right there, and the looks are there. I think LA did a really good job of PKing, but that's going to be important for this series. It's going to be important for the next. I don't know if guys got to rotate, change positions, what it is. Maybe simplify so that the guys aren't, every guy that gets the puck's got 4 grade A options. They do, but that's doesn't necessarily help things. But I thought that was, you're probably going to see more out of Colorado going forward here. But they still look pretty darn good.
All right, perfect. Well, for over 75 years, the Hockey News has been the ultimate hockey fix. Now get 12 issues delivered straight to you, packed with stories, stats, and a bonus gift issue to kick things off. Head over to thn.com and get in on the action, which brings us to rapid fire. And there is one series yet to commence at the time of filming here. That is Edmonton and Anaheim. So here's our first rapid fire question. Who plays more games for Edmonton in the first round? Leon Draisaiti or Connor Ingram? Mike.
I'm going to say Draisaitl. I have a feeling that Edmonton's going to be going back and forth between their goalies. And we're going to see Tristan Jarry at some point. For Edmonton's sake, I do hope they see Draisaitl, not just for game 1, but for the entire series. We'll see how healthy he is and whether he can withstand the whole series.
Fair enough. Devin, we think maybe Draisaitl will play game 1, but Chris Knobloch was being saucy about it this morning. So Ingram or Draisaitl, who gets more games in the first round series against Anaheim?
Well, if Draisaitl plays game 1, then they're even. And if he doesn't, then Ingram. I'm going to disagree with Michael here. I don't think I think Ingram's going to hang in there. I think he's looked good. I think he's got a longer leash than most guys in these playoffs because Jarry hasn't given them a reason to want to make a switch. Like we talked about Dallas earlier. Casey DeSmith has been great this year. So yeah, it's not the first option, but he's good. Jarry hasn't given them a reason to want to get him in the net. So unless Ingram has been very good. So unless it's really off of the rails for Ingram, they don't want to play Jarry.
Right.
Fair enough.
Oh yeah.
Whereas, you look at Minnesota or Colorado, like they've got guys, I would want to play Mackenzie Blackwood. I mean, I hope not. Or Philip Gustafson, I hope not. But if it's like teetering a little bit, it's like, yeah, we got another weapon here. It's not like that in Edmonton right now. And that's just the way it's gone for Jari. So I think Ingram's he's been great. I think he's going to hang in there. It's going to be a little high octane series, but hopefully Leon's back for game one and it should be a fun watch.
Right on. Okay. Yay or nay, fighting off the opening faceoff. We saw Brady Tkachuk take on fellow captain Jordan Staal in the Ottawa Carolina series. Devin, what do you think about this?
I don't know. I'm not a huge fan. I mean, I liked in the Four Nations. That was sweet. Like there's times like if there was bad blood, the game before and everything's building up and you want to just get it out of the way. Like we got to do that. I mean, both big boys, Brady Tkachuk loves that stuff.
Yeah.
Listen, it'll get the excitement going for game one of playoffs. Sure. I don't think it's necessary. But in the right situations, it can definitely be exciting, and it can kick it, the excitement level of that game in the arena through the roof if it's timed right. But I certainly don't think it's necessary.
Mike, what do you think?
I'm a big nay on this one, and a lot of what Devin said, I'll echo. Is just you don't need extra excitement for game one of the playoffs. Like that barn was just jumping, so I don't get that point of it. I also don't like the idea that Brady Tkachuk just took himself out for 5 minutes. Like I want Brady Tkachuk on the ice. I also don't want him breaking his thumb again or doing something to his shoulder. Like he's just too valuable. I think that's one where Jordan Stahl's like, you want to fight on the faceoff? Gladly. I'm here to shut you down. So us being in the penalty box is my job. I've just, I've done that complete because Nick Cousins jumps on the ice in place of Brady Tkachuk. And I'm sorry, but I'd rather take Nick Cousins than Brady Tkachuk if I'm the Carolina Hurricanes.
Fair enough. I kind of like the idea of captains squaring off as just sort of like a, almost a ceremonial thing, but it wouldn't always work. And also, it's kind of funny because like Tkachuk was lined up with Jordan Martinook, who's a big boy as well. I wonder if Martinook was like, yo, like I'm right here. Like, why don't you fight me? Like, but I understand the captain thing. So, but great points all around. I mean, you certainly want Tkachuk on the ice than in the penalty box. All right, next one. Mike, which rookie do you think can have a big impact on these playoffs?
I'm going to go with Montreal's Ivan Demidov. And if you remember, he was actually in the playoffs last year for Montreal. So got a taste of it. I think he had like 3 assists, already picked up his first helper last night against the Tampa Bay Lightning. And, this guy is just so skilled, Ryan, that I think he's going to really break through, especially if Montreal goes on a bit of a run. We'll see how the series shapes up.
Indeed. Devin, who's a rookie on your watch right now?
Oh, this one caught me off guard a little bit. I'm going to go with Matt Savoy in Edmonton because we know, right? We know what we're going to get from the big boys, and a big part of Edmonton's run last year was that secondary scoring, and I thought he's been really good in this last stretch here. And if they're gonna make a little run and go anywhere, they're gonna need more than just Connor and Leon. Even as superhuman as those guys are, that he's gonna have to be a big contributor. So I'm curious to see in his first playoffs what he looks like.
Yeah, good call. All right, which game from this weekend was the most exciting to watch? Devin, I'll go to you first on this one.
Buffalo, Boston. Obviously, it's pretty easy. I mean, you just got to watch that. You don't even have to watch the whole game. Just watch the last 5 minutes, and then you can pick another game. There were lots of good ones, though. I mean, I won't take them all away, but that one to me was the most exciting. That last 5 or 6 minutes, I thought Tampa and Montreal was phenomenal too. Probably not from the coach's standpoint, as we talked earlier. For Tampa, but from a fan watching, lead changes back and forth, overtime, kind of everything you like.
There you go. And shout out to Montreal for ending it early in overtime. Thinking about all those beat writers on deadline. Very nice of them. Mike, what do you think was the most exciting game? Was it Buffalo-Boston?
Yeah, it was Buffalo-Boston, but Devin's right. I was flipping back between both games, and I was like, all right, I'll watch the overtime, but I want to get back to Buffalo-Boston. So it was perfect. Like, I was complaining a lot about not having a Canadian team in prime time, but, the Saturday I was just sitting on the couch watching game after game after game. And then the Sunday, it was a lot of the same. It was just hockey at the Traikos household. So We were treated to some great ones, but how can you not like an overtime in the first game?
Indeed. All right. Super quick to end it off. Michael, go to you first on this one. Give me a player that's hot or give me a player that's cold or a combination of both. It's up to you.
Yeah, Devin already mentioned them before, but Buffalo's Tage Thompson gets my he was the player that was hot. And, this is a guy that was waiting for a long time to get into a playoff series. And, great first showing from Tage Thompson. In the not category, we talked about Dallas and how Jake Ottinger's wearing that loss. But let's face it, Mikko Rantanen was a -3, Ryan. That's not good enough if I'm Mikko Rantanen. The Moose has to play how he played last year, where he was just so dominant. And if he can get that way, then Dallas is probably going to get back into the series.
There you go. Don't poke the bear. Do not wake the moose. Devin, hot or cold? Who you got?
I mean, the obvious hot is Slafkovsky. We talked about him earlier. Yeah. That's an easy one. I thought Matt Boldy was good too in Minnesota, and I think that it's kind of a sneaky one, right? It's like Quinn Hughes and Kaprizov, and Boldy's putting his name in there more and more. But when you kind of go down that roster, you start to realize why Minnesota's as dangerous as they are, and Matt Boldy is a big part of that. So I think he had a couple in game one, and I'm gonna go differently here. I usually don't do this, but I'm gonna go not cold, but Vasi. I didn't like the overtime goal. I just it's uncharacteristic of him. He obviously made some great saves during that game. He's going to have to because Montreal's offense is super creative. But just watching the goal, it was just surprising to me. He's too far out of his net. He overplays it, like he shuffles twice, and he's off angle, and he doesn't read the puck off the stick. It was just, again, very uncharacteristic. He was pulled way over, so the far side was open, and the puck comes off the stick. I mean, he wasn't even close to it. He didn't really, and I'm watching, trying to see, like, did it tip something? Was there a screen? I'm sure if I talked to him, he could tell me something that would make sense. Because there's little things that maybe something happened. I don't know. It was just a weird one to watch, how he overplayed the angle as much as he did. He dropped early and just didn't really react to a shot. Not a not dangerous shot. I mean, Slafkovsky from a great spot, but he didn't move on it. He missed it by 8-10 inches. Like, it wasn't close. So it was just strange to me. But anyway, I don't like to go against my goalies, but that was a weird one for me.
Fair enough. Well, we'll see if the big cat lands on his feet in game 2. And that's it for us here at the Big Show. For Michael Traikos and Devan Dubnyk, I'm Ryan Kennedy. We'll see y'all later.